It was just because he worked overtime, and he never expected to stumble upon a murder scene. Tom was hiding in the corner, trembling, until the killer dragged the body away. Only then did he hurriedly rush into a nearby restroom. But in the next moment, the company's security guard was lying there, seemingly already killed by the murderer. Tom immediately went over to check, but accidentally triggered the flushing mechanism. Fearing that the killer would hear the noise, Tom quickly shut the door and, just to be safe, stepped on the body. But before he could relax, the killer walked into the restroom. Tom immediately panicked, but the killer went straight to the sink. Seeing that he was only there to clean the blood off his hands, Tom breathed a sigh of relief. However, just then, the killer suddenly spoke.
How you doing in there, Barney? You want to toss me your keys?
Seeing the keys on the body, Tom suddenly felt something was wrong. Acting quickly, he carefully jumped down and, just before the killer entered, he hid in another stall through the gap. But before he could breathe easy, the infrared light suddenly turned on, and it looked like he was about to be exposed. So, as the killer stood up, Tom triggered the flush again.
Stay there.
Then the killer walked straight out of the restroom. Tom didn't dare move until the sound of footsteps faded completely. He rushed out, but as soon as he opened a door, he bumped into another co-worker who was also working late. Tom immediately told him about the killer, and the two of them headed to the elevator to escape. But they found that the elevator had already been shut down.
He's dead.
So, they went to the emergency exit, only to find that it had also been locked by the killer. With all exits blocked, they had no choice but to return to the office. Tom asked his co-worker to use the computer to call the police while he went back to his desk to get his phone. But the next second, he saw the killer walking toward them.
Tom, the internet's shut.
Before they could turn off the computer, the killer had already arrived and noticed the computer was still on. As the killer slowly approached, the two of them, hiding under the desk, were terrified. Luckily, the killer didn't seem to suspect anything. After turning off the computer, he walked away. Once they were sure the killer had left, the two of them carefully peeked out and ran in the opposite direction. At that moment, Tom remembered that the boss was still in the company. He asked his co-worker to find a way to call the police while he went to notify the boss. But when he reached the boss's office, he found it was completely empty.
Where'd you go?
On the other side, the co-worker found his phone, but the first thing he did was call his wife. Just as the call connected, the killer was already standing right behind him.